Now to duplicate this, what we can do is select both. How do we select both layers? We have already the Colors top left layer selected. To select the box top left layer, we hold down the Shift key and click on that. So every time you hold down the Shift key and click on another layer, it allows you to select it along with the one that you already have selected. The way we duplicate these two layers is hold down the Alt key, click once and drag. Okay? So I'm duplicating them because I have the Alt key pushed and then I just clicked on them and dragged them out. Since both layers are selected, both of them got duplicated. Now I haven't released yet, and I can obviously tell you that there's a small problem. The problem is that my hand is shaking, right? And your hand might shake as well. And that will prevent you from positioning your image exactly on the horizontal level as the first box. So to avoid that shaking, what you can do is while you're holding down the Alt key, you can also hold down the Shift key. Okay? And holding down the Shift key will snap your images onto the horizontal guide. Okay, so that's it. This is our second box. Let's change the name so that we know what we're doing. This is Colors top right, and then box top right. And now we need to duplicate these bottom two. We can do the same exercise of selecting both layers and copying to this corner, and then doing the same thing for the lower left corner. Or we can select all four layers. So I held down the Shift key and I selected all four. And then hold down the Alt key, hover over anywhere over these two images, and then click and drag. And make sure you hold down the Shift key so that vertically your images don't move. And then release. Okay? Alright. Now, let's go ahead and give these the proper names. If I click on this first duplicated layer, if I look at the layer, I honestly don't know if it's the left or the right one. Actually, I do know because I see that the image of the singer is on the bottom left. So I can do that. Or I can just click on this little eye icon, which hides that image for me. So in case I don't know what layer I'm on, I just hide my layer, and then that's an indication that, oh, okay, this image that got duplicated is in the bottom left. Okay, so that's why I will change this name to Colors bottom left. And then this is probably the blue box accompanying it. So box bottom left. And then obviously this is Colors bottom right. And this should be box bottom right. Okay? So what's left for us to do is just change the colors of these other boxes. Let's look at the screenshot that we took. Now, how do we get to that file? Because it's not here, right? It's not one of those files. How do we get to that file? We can get to that file, the screenshot file, by going under Window and finding it there. So at the bottom of the window panel, you see at the very bottom, you see the names of the files that are open currently. What I need is this screenshot, and I will start working with this green section. So again, I will click I for the eyedropper tool, and then click on the green, and then go back to my work. So click on B, go back to your document, and then find the square. Which one is the square? Let's see, bottom top right. Okay, now how do I color this box? That's the big question. There are several ways. The first way is to hover over the square of the layer, not over the word, over the square, and then hold down the command key and click. And that will allow you to select the whole square. But the other way, which is what I prefer, so let's deselect this, command D. The other way is to lock this layer. To lock the layer, you have several lock options right here within the layer panel. You don't want to use any of these last three, because if you, for example, use any of them, it might lock your layer so you can't move it. You still want to be able to move it, but you only need to lock it to give it a color. That's why you need to click on this first icon. Okay, when you click on the first icon where it says locked, you will see this gray little lock onto that layer. Since the layer is locked, now you can apply the color by clicking Alt Delete. Okay, and the color obviously was applied because it was in the foreground of my color panel in the toolbox. So same thing for the other two. Again, let's go back to screenshot, eyedropper tool, select the yellow, V to go back to the move tool, and then I'm looking for the box bottom left, which is right here. I need to lock it, and then Alt Delete. Okay, and then go back to window, screenshot, and you see this fuchsia color now. So I, for the eyedropper tool, click once to select the color goes into the foreground, V, and then go back to your document, and what we're looking for now is the box bottom right here, and then lock that layer, Alt Delete. Okay, so this is it, we did it. Let's see if there's any other thing left for us to do. Reproduce the Andy Warhol style poster of Maria Callas below using the image provided for you. So this is the exercise, this is all you need to do. Now the way to save this, actually it's a bad practice not to save. I shouldn't have dragged you into this. It's good to save from the very beginning, so because you know suddenly your computer might crash or something. So go to File, save this, let's say on your desktop. I don't know how you're organizing your work, but you probably do have a folder into which you are saving your work for this week's assignments, and give this file a name, let's say mariacallas.psd, and keep this PSD version for yourself, okay? But save another copy for me. So the difference between saving and saving as is when you save this file, let me show you, save this file, let's say on the desktop, I created a new folder, I called it week 4, okay? And you see week 4 got created right here. And then I'll call this Callas, and I will save it as PSD for me, okay? So you will save this as a PSD for you because you might want to get back to it, make a change or something in the future. But I do not want this PSD file. I only want a JPEG file because, first of all, a PSD file is huge. It's very difficult to upload to Angel. It takes ages, and I really don't need it. I will understand when I see this as a JPEG file that you've done the right thing. To know the difference between a PSD file and a JPEG file, which is something I believe I explained earlier, but I'll repeat right now, the PSD file obviously will allow you to preserve your layers. So if I go ahead and close this file and then try to open it again, File, Open, go to my desktop, find week 4 right here, and then this file called callas.psd. When I open the file, you will see your layers that are preserved, okay? Now, if you go ahead and save this file hit save as. Remember, don't save now because it's already saved, but save it as in the same folder as a JPEG. So where it says Format Photoshop, select JPEG instead of Photoshop, because Photoshop gives the extension PSD while JPEG gives the extension JPEG. Not only does it give the extension JPEG, it also merges all your layers into one. So your file size becomes very small, and it becomes easier to upload to Angel or send by email or whatever you're doing. In this case, obviously, you're uploading to Angel. So just make sure to save your file as a JPEG, hit save, and then for the quality, anything between 10 and 12 works fine. So let's say we choose 10, hit OK, and that's it. So now what do we have in our folder? In our folder, we have, if I find the week 4 folder, we have one file, kalas.psd, which I do not want, and then another file called kalas.jpg, which is what you should submit. Okay, and if I open kalas.jpg in Photoshop, you see that there are no layers. It's only one layer, which makes this a small file and very user-friendly as far as uploading to the web.